The purpose is to see people connected. And in that connected relationship with each other, we grow best to become like Jesus. We care for one another. We meet each other's needs. We celebrate what God's doing in our lives. We pray together. We become family. Whether you meet on a Sunday morning in a classroom here or you meet in a home not far from here. So the purpose is to connect. And just keep that in mind, okay? The philosophy is connecting, and you're not more spiritual if you go to Sunday school, or you're not more spiritual if you go to a home group. You're just not. You're more spiritual if you become like Jesus, okay? So that's the goal, is to become like Christ, whether it's in home or not in home. So I'm excited about This Is Us. Now, for me personally, for Tara and I personally, we cannot teach a Sunday school class. Do you know why? I got a job. I'm working. I'm busy aggravating y'all on Sunday mornings and making sure Dr. Cheatham doesn't fall asleep. Call on him every now and then. He was pretty sleepy this morning. I had to help him a bit. No, he was fully engaged. But we have an opportunity to have people in our home, and we're so grateful that we've got an amazing group. Casey and Elizabeth, they're back here in the back. They got 9,000 kids back there with them. And just two. Feels like 9,000. So Casey, 2 so far. Yeah, okay, but they're part of our group. And in fact, these guys are leading a group. It started with This Is Us, and they're joining with John and Sandy Dunn. They're over here. And so we've got young folks with slightly not young folks. Okay. They were beaking before I got to the place about slightly young, not young folks. So it's going to be amazing. And Tara and I are going to take part of that group, and we're going to start another group in our home on Wednesday night. So we're really excited about that. But if you've got a group on campus or off campus, it's all about connecting people. And so there's some common things. So I want you to jot some ideas down, okay? Some common things that I want you to keep in mind about group life here at First Baptist Church, connecting people to God and to each other. So let me pray for us. Father, thank you for what you want to say to us tonight as we start thinking about helping people find biblical community. Whether it's here on this campus or off this campus, really, God, you're the God of everywhere. And I pray, Father, that we can see your heart and we can experience this level of intimacy and connection that you desire, that we might grow to become like you, serve one another, and then contagiously share the love of Jesus in word and deed. So thank you for tonight. Thank you for these leaders, and I pray this in your name. Amen. Okay, before I jump into this, how many of y'all are veterans? You've been leading a group for a while. Raise your hand if you're a veteran. Just hold them up real high. I know some of you can't get your arms up, but that's okay. All right, how many of you are first-timers? This is your first time leading a group. Oh, awesome. Perfect. We got some first-timers. We got some rookies in the room. That's good. All right, here's some basic things, okay? The first thing you want to do is create an inviting environment. You want people to feel at home. Whether you're in a classroom here or in your home at home, you want people to feel welcomed. Now, if you're leading a group, an off-campus group, it doesn't necessarily have to be in your house. It could be in somebody else's house. You might have somebody who says, hey, I don't want to lead a group, but I'm willing to host a group. Then take them up on it. Say, sure, let's do it together. But you want to create a welcoming, warm environment. I want to tell you some things I do about my home group. This is what I do. I never wear my shoes. Do you know why? I'm at home. I don't wear my shoes at home. I never wear my shoes. We always start very casually and informally in our kitchen. We do, and we always start around food. Food matters, doesn't it? And usually now, in some groups I've done in the past, we've done supper. We've had like big food where people would come in and eat. But the way our schedules are here and in Wimberley and our challenges with timing is that we just kind of do desserts or something kind of sweet or salty, and we share. And Elizabeth is kind of our hostess, and she makes sure people are signed up to bring desserts, and we do that, and we have desserts and drinks. And Casey always gets a cup of coffee, and he always uses my cup that I have to scour the next day to make sure I have all the salesman germs off of it. But we do that. And what happens, y'all, in about 3 weeks of this, if you're doing a home group, people start feeling at home. You know how I know that when they feel welcomed? When they look in my refrigerator. That is a sign that they feel connected. And then they start sharing, and then what happens is you develop this amazing bond because they feel welcomed. And then when you talk about birthing and starting a new group, it's traumatic. And we had the birth trauma this past week, right, guys? And we're going to be fine because all of them are going with John and Sandy and the mock. So they're all going with them. And I'm going to get a whole new group. So that's what's going to happen. So whether you're on campus or off campus, make sure people feel welcome. Take time to hear their story. Okay, you're not taking people through a curriculum. The curriculum is your guide to help people. So you have to hear their needs. Now, in the home groups, this is what we're doing. During This Is Us, I provided a DVD teaching that's about 7 minutes long, and it'll be available on September 1st, just so you know, Joe. Yeah, I know. Sorry, buddy. And then you'll plug that. And we've written a study guide for you, and I think Joe has those available. That gives you This Is Us, or Tom has it available. Tom has it available. And we'll show you how that lays out. And then you'll watch that, and then there's discussion afterwards. So icebreakers, things like that to keep people moving. Now, if you're in your Sunday school class, what we want you to do is I want you gifted teachers to teach. I want you to teach. I don't want you to play DVD. Now, if you want to play my DVD, God help you, you can do that, okay? But I want you to teach. And Joe has curriculum that's been written by a team of curriculum writers. I think we had Warren Wearsby, Evie Hill, Tony Evans, Beth Moore and Priscilla Shire that have written the material. Actually, it's been Mike Stevens and Buddy Elazor and John Dunn and Dean Murray. But they've written curriculum, and they've written in such a way that'll help you take the material and teach it. Now, for you gifted teachers, you guys that teach on the Sunday morning, we want you to take what you think you need and teach that. And then, of course, create your environment and ask the questions. Now, here's some things. Have some agreements with people, whether you're on campus or off campus. Here's the first agreement. Whatever's said in here stays in here. We have an agreement of confidentiality. Okay? Whatever says in here, it stays in here. So it's a safe place. Second thing, we're not going to allow any negative or critical conversations to happen. If you're negative and critical about the church or somebody else, you can say that for later. We're not going to do that here. So as a leader, you may have to stop some of it. Go, whoa. We don't talk about that here. Okay, this is part of our agreement. The third thing is everybody has a chance to participate. No one dominates. Everyone has a chance to participate. Now, this is what I do in my home group. Now, you may not do this in your Sunday school class because it's a little different environment. This is what I say to my group in my home. I will never call on you to read or to pray, because that's usually two of people's biggest fears. Reading in public or praying in public. Y'all get that? Yeah, because it makes you uncomfortable. Especially if you're fortunate you get called on to read and you get the list of the biblical names you have to read and the places, and all of us pronounce them wrong. We act like we have confidence, Dr. Cheatham, but we all just mess it up. So when you go to Israel, you go, oh, that's the way that's pronounced, not the way I've been saying it for 40 years, okay? So we never ask people to read, we never ask people to pray. Then we also ask for people to be available to one another, to create a sense of family. Now, that's the great thing about either on campus or off campus, is that we have a chance to love each other and care for one another, to know each other's names. Now, I discovered this, and I'm going to pick on you just for a second. We had an open house last Christmas at our house, and we had over 300 people come to our home last Christmas. Did y'all know that? And we ate most of the cookies. I found Peggy gave us some cookies, and I found some the other day. Glory to God. There's none left. Anyway, what I discovered is there was a couple standing in my kitchen. They were engaged. It was two couples. They were engaged in conversation. Come to find out they were in the same Sunday school class, had been there for years and didn't know each other, didn't know each other's names. What? You as a leader have an opportunity to do what I call as a spider web. Okay? This is what we typically do. As leaders, we want to make sure you're connected to me, you're connected to me, you're connected to me, you're connected, you're connected, you're connected to me. No, what we want is you connected to me, to you, 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 to you. To create a spider web of influence where people will naturally gather together and care for one another. And then I want to tell you another little secret. At some point, your group's going to get so large it has to birth. And how do you do it? So I want to tell it this way. This is how we did it the other day. We did it the other day by bringing in competent leaders who they love them more than they love me, so they just all left. And I get to start a new group, which is fine. But this is how we're going to do it. I want you to imagine that I have an orange in my hand. Okay, I have an orange. And I peel it. Peel the orange. And so what do I do to serve it to you? I just rip it in half and give you half and you half. What does that do? Makes a mess. So if I really wanted to be wise, what would I do? Make orange juice. That's an Aggie engineer right there. Develop a pasteurizing process and bottle it and sell it for a profit. Yeah. Okay. Now what do? Oranges are what? What do they have? Sections. In this spider web of relationships, you're going to find people that naturally gravitate to one another. And they're going to form friendships. And they're going to form a bond. And then when it's time to birth, you birth in sections, not ripping the orange apart. The best way I found to birth is exactly what we're doing now. The leader leaves, I leave, and I leave it with a leader. And I go get another group. Yeah, so every group, whether it's an on-campus or off-campus group, you need an apprentice. You need an apprentice leader. So think about that with your case. Now, the worst home group leader in the church is me. I'm the worst. You know why? Why am I the worst? Talk too much. That's exactly right. Right, Casey? The second worst is Casey. Because he talks a lot too. Now, but the thing is that we have to understand that we share. We share. Here's another thing. You know, I have the hardest time turning it over to someone else. Do y'all notice when somebody else preaches here, I'm gone? Do you know why? Because I'm going, I just can't do it. Just can't do it. And so it's that process of giving it away. So thank you. So every group needs an apprentice. Here's another thing I would consider, either you're on campus or off campus, something to consider. You really need a hostess or host, someone who does the details, someone who makes sure people know what's happening, know what's going on, know who to pray for, know what's happening. Now, with our group, it's a young group, so we have these group text. Are you guys familiar with group text? You're not familiar with, well, Paul, I'm going to put you on a group text. You'll be familiar with it, and you're going to look for a hammer and a nail to drive through your temple. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's that on, but that's the way the younger generation communicates, and text or emails or whatever. So to make sure that we're up to speed. Now, some of our group texts are a lot of fun. You know, they'll get down a nonsense trail and they're a lot of fun. Our staff will do a group text, and every now and then I will chime in and said, okay, that's enough. We'll see you at work tomorrow. And it ends the group text. It's magic when you're the boss. It's just magic. You just leave me off. That's it. That's probably smart, Joe. Yeah, just leave him out. He doesn't need to know what's going on. But it's that whole process of making sure people, now listen to me, people are down on what they're not up on. All right? Now, when it comes to church information, if you're a leader, ask us. We'll tell you what's going on. We're going to try to do a better job of creating a system of keeping you informed. And we're going to develop a coaching network and those kind of things like that. So those are the basic things about group. Tom, do I need to talk about anything else? Is that enough? Joe, anything else? Okay, now listen. We will never, ever force you to do something. But we're asking you to align during This Is Us because we want everybody on the same page. What? Oh, cards. Okay. So we want everybody on the same page. This is really important. I have, and we're going to distribute these to you, invite cards. You're the first ones to get these, right? They were out this morning? Okay. So this is First Baptist Church invite card. Join us for This Is Us. You can invite them to your group and do that. Now, here's another thing. We've got cards today. I don't know how many we got about I need to be. 5,000 cards about I want to be in a group. 5,000 of these. How many cards did we get for 400 that I need to be in a group? Yes. Okay, all right. I'm just going, oh my gracious. Okay, well, you're not hearing as I'm saying it. Yeah. Okay, but here's the deal, the thing I know. In our second gathering, less than 30% of those folks are connected in a group. So we got to fix that, right? How many people do we want to be connected in a group? 125%. Okay? We want everybody to have an opportunity to be connected. Now, we're going to do this now. We're going to divide into two sections. For those of you who are leading a home group or an off-campus group, you're going to stay with Tom. You're going to either go or stay with Tom. How many of y'all are going to be in an off-campus group? Raise your hand. Okay? All right. You guys are going to stay in the room with Tom. And then those of you leading an on-campus group, okay, some of you are both, okay? John, you stay here with the home group, okay? Because I think you got the other thing down, okay? So off-campus, and those who are leading a campus group, will go with Joe, and you're going to go into 103 and 104, which is just across the hall there.
Small group that we're kind of reinforcing and repeating the same message, or are we coming at it from different angles?
You're coming at it from different angles. Actually, we're going to give our teachers on campus permission or license to go deeper or chase rabbits as they need to, okay? So it's going to be more of an inductive, deeper study. Right, and then the next dive will be listening to me teach on DVD in the group life. But there's another component, and that's your personal readings that we'll provide for you as well. And we want everybody to be involved in a gathering, a group, and a God time. So it's group, God, group, and gathering, okay? Or gathering, group, and God. Y'all got that? And everything is going to be built upon, built upon, built upon, built upon. Now, I'm going to give this advertisement since you brought it up. On September 15th, it's a Sunday, September 15th, I'm going to be teaching our membership class on Sunday morning and inviting anyone who wants to be a member to go through a membership interview and join our family that Sunday. And we just did a training with our deacons and advisory board on to do those membership interviews. So that's going to be very unusual. And it's going to be very cool. And then that afternoon, we're going to baptize in the creek. So that's going to happen on September 15th, okay? And then also during This Is Us, we're going to have a Launch the Love Week where we're going to be involved with all kinds of humanitarian relief efforts in the Wimberley Valley through our church that Scott Tidwell is working on with many organizations. And we're talking about many people in our church who needs a little help and a little love. We're going to launch the love in Wimberley. And then when you're here launching the love in Wimberley, I'm going to be in Nicaragua training 400 pastors that same week. So we're going to be intentional about launching the love locally and globally during that launch. Isn't that exciting? This is going to be an amazing adventure over the next 8 weeks. All right? So thank you, John, for that. Anybody else with a question or thought or clarification? It's all clear in my head. Is it fairly clear in your head? Okay, so we're here to help you. Yes, sir, wink. Yeah, the way I can help you populate your groups is for you to identify yourself as a group leader. And we're going to get you some name badges that says, ask me about my group. Tom's got them right there. Okay, now listen, I need to say this. Okay, hold on just a second, Autumn. That people come to group best on the arm of a trusted friend. Casey and Elizabeth had a neighborhood full of kids, people their age with their 5,000 kids, and they recruited and they brought them to us. So find someone you know that can recruit, and make the ask. Now, how big does your group have to be? Does it need to be 8 to 12 to 10? No. 3 and 4 or 5 is perfect. So don't think you have to have, the Weatherford multitude. Okay? So if you have 4, that's awesome. Run with it and go. If you have 5, 6, yeah. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you get more than 15, you need 2 groups. And that's what we've discovered, with ours. And then Tara and I threw a pool party last Wednesday, and they all wanted to move into our house with all their 5,000 kids. So that's the way it works, right, Casey? It's pretty awesome. I had to throw a lot of chlorine in that pool after it got done. So that's really fun. All right, any other questions or thoughts? That's good. Recruit your group. Recruit your group. Yes, ma'am. Yes, beautiful. Yeah, and that is a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that because our church in Victoria, we had 125% connected in groups. We had 2,500 people who attended every weekend. That's kids and everything. We had 2,700 adults connected in groups because people would come to group before they would come to church. Now, here's the thing about this thing, why I do the DVD. This is what happens. They'll go to a group and they'll listen to me teach on DVD, and then they'll come, and it's not this strange thing. Well, it's a strange thing when they first watch it, but they get over the strangeness. And they feel like, okay, I know this person, I've seen this person, so they come in with an affinity already. And so that's the power of what we're doing. In fact, I want you to encourage you to fish outside your pond. Okay? Look for people who aren't connected. Look for people who aren't a part of the family and make this an evangelistic outreach. That's a weird word, but I think you get that. To make this a reach out and beyond, okay? And we also can help funnel people to your group. Like when Joe starts getting these cards in, we're going to do this over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we can start sending people your way. Now, if we send somebody your way, be sure to contact them, okay? Don't just let it lay. All right? That applies for on campus and off campus. On campus, off campus. And I want to say this to you and we'll quit. We are having a serious space issue right now. Our second gathering was at over 80% capacity this Sunday. The first gathering still has room, but the second gathering, parking is a zoo. Have y'all figured that out? Parking is a zoo. It's like the outlet mall on the day after Thanksgiving. So we need to pray and think and become creative about what we're going to do. What we're going to do. It takes unselfish people to reach people for Jesus. Unselfish people to reach people for Jesus. We had a new couple today that was sitting in a well-known person's spot today. I walked in and went, ay, 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 they're sitting in their place. And do you know what this person did? They sat someplace else. And they were fine with it. Yeah, because they love Jesus. Yeah. And I'm so proud of them. I went up and gave them a hug. I said, I saw those people in your place. She says, I know. I was just so glad they were here. That's like Jesus, isn't it? Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. I love you guys. Tara gave me permission to wear shorts. So if you're mad at me, you're mad at her. Okay. So good luck with that. All right. God bless you. I love you. I'm excited about the days ahead. Off-campus groups, stay here. On-campus groups, jump up like young antelope and leave with Brother Joe. God bless you. Love you guys.